The AI Week in Review, April 4th, 2026. The AI Signal, Pilot Episode. This week in AI, SpaceX just bought xAI for $250 billion. Google dropped an algorithm that's being called the new DeepSeek moment. OpenAI is now worth more than most countries. And the fastest-growing open-source project in GitHub history just changed how AI agents work forever. I'm the AI Signal, cutting through the noise to bring you what actually matters in artificial intelligence. Let's get into it. The biggest story this week is one that reshapes the entire AI landscape. SpaceX has acquired xAI, Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company, in a deal reportedly worth $250 billion. Now, on the surface, this looks like Musk consolidating his empire. But look deeper and you'll see something more strategic happening. xAI's Grok model is about to hit version 5 with a rumored 6 trillion parameters. That's roughly 6 times the size of GPT-4. But building models this large requires staggering amounts of compute. SpaceX's infrastructure, its global satellite network, its data centers, its engineering talent gives xAI something no other AI lab has: a vertically integrated hardware and connectivity stack. This deal isn't just about making a bigger chatbot. It's about building the infrastructure layer for AI at planetary scale. Meanwhile, OpenAI is having a week that cements its position as the dominant force in commercial AI. The company closed a massive funding round that values it at $852 billion. To put that in perspective, that's larger than the GDP of most countries on Earth. But here's what's more interesting than the valuation. OpenAI is transforming ChatGPT into what they're calling a super app. Chat, coding, search, and autonomous agents, all in one interface. With 900 million weekly users, they're not just building an AI tool anymore. They're building the operating system for how people interact with intelligence itself, and they're not stopping there. OpenAI also acquired TBPN, a popular daily tech podcast. That tells you exactly where they're headed, controlling not just the technology, but the narrative around it. OpenAI is becoming a media company as much as an AI company. Oh, and one more thing. ChatGPT's advertising pilot has already crossed $100 million in revenue in just weeks. Ads inside AI conversations are now officially a business model, and it's working fast. Now let's rapid fire through 3 more stories you need to know about. Number 1. Google dropped a bombshell called Turbo Quant. It's a compression algorithm that reduces AI memory usage by more than 6 times. Why does that matter? Because memory is the biggest bottleneck in running large AI models. Cloudflare's CEO called this Google's DeepSeek moment, meaning it could do for inference costs what DeepSeek did for training costs last year. Memory chip stocks like Micron and SK Hynix fell on the news. But long-term cheaper inference means AI gets deployed everywhere, and that's ultimately bullish for the entire ecosystem. Number 2. GPT 5.4. Thinking just scored 75% on the OS World Verified benchmark. That's a test measuring whether AI can use a computer the way a human does, navigating files, browsers, and terminal interfaces. The previous version scored 47%. In one generation, OpenAI nearly doubled its score and officially surpassed human-level performance on desktop computer tasks. We are now firmly in the era of AI that can operate your computer autonomously. Number 3. Mark Zuckerberg is personally writing code again for the first time in over 2 decades. He submitted 3 code changes to Meta's main codebase. And here's the kicker. He's doing it using Claude Code, Anthropic's command-line AI coding tool, not Meta's own AI. When the CEO of one of the biggest tech companies on the planet chooses a competitor's AI tool to write code, that tells you something about where the best tools actually are right now. Now for the tool of the week. This week it's OpenClaw, the autonomous AI agent framework that just became the fastest-growing open-source project in GitHub history, passing 302,000 stars. What makes OpenClaw different from other AI agents? It runs locally on your machine. It can execute shell commands, manage files, browse the web, and automate tasks across messaging platforms like WhatsApp, Telegram, and Signal. Its architecture uses a 4-layer system: gateway, nodes, channels, and skills. That means third-party developers can extend it with specialized packages for everything from coding automation to research workflows. Now, here's the catch. Because OpenClaw can run arbitrary commands on your machine, security researchers are already flagging risks, prompt injection attacks, supply chain compromises through malicious skill packages. Hardened forks like NanoClaw have already appeared, which run the agent inside a sandboxed container to prevent unauthorized system access. If you try OpenClaw, use it carefully. But it's genuinely the most capable open-source agent framework available right now, and it's free. Worth experimenting with. And speaking of big shifts, Anthropic just announced that Claude subscriptions will no longer cover usage on third-party tools like OpenClaw, starting today. You can still use these tools, but you'll need separate API credits. It's a sign that agentic AI usage is growing so fast that even the companies building the models are struggling to keep up with the compute demand. Now for the signal. One trend I'm watching that hasn't made mainstream headlines yet. Gartner just published a prediction that by 2028, more than half of all enterprises will stop paying for assistive AI, things like copilots and smart advisors, and will instead demand platforms that deliver workflow results. Not tools that help you do your job, but systems that do parts of your job for you, end to end. The distinction matters. A copilot suggests what to write in an email. An agentic workflow system writes the email, sends it, follows up if there's no response, and escalates to your manager if it's urgent, all within policy and compliance guardrails. Gartner also predicts that by 2030, software companies that simply bolt AI onto their existing products rather than redesigning for agentic execution will face margin compression of up to 80%. In other words, every SaaS company on the planet needs to fundamentally rethink its product in the next 2 to 4 years, or risk becoming irrelevant. This is the pattern I'd watch most closely. The AI industry is shifting from tools you use to systems that work for you, and that shift is going to be the biggest story of the next few years. That's your Week in AI. If this was useful, subscribe to the AI Signal. I'll be here every week breaking down what matters, so you don't have to read 100 newsletters to stay current. I'll see you next Wednesday.